We traveled to Da Nang, a laid-back coastal city right in central Vietnam, sitting between the mountains and the South China Sea. We stayed at the Matissa Hotel. The hotel was centrally located and very comfortable. It came with a daily breakfast and plenty of windows for us to keep tabs on that ever-present rain. Since things were a little soggy, we made a beeline for coffee at 6 on 6. Troy went for the coconut coffee, basically a dreamy mix of strong Vietnamese coffee and a frozen creamy coconut blend. It's a dessert and a caffeine boost all at the same time. And I was super excited to find a spot doing a decaf version of egg coffee. We couldn't leave Da Nang without checking out the beach, so we made our way down to the coast.
Just a little windy today.
Not exactly the perfect beach day, but we had to walk down here and see because it's supposed to be just a beautiful beach here. No swimming today. They specifically say no swimming, and you can see there's like some very big, scary looking waves. So we're just gonna walk near it and not get in it.
Apparently, it's been an unusually late rainy season in Da Nang this year, which has kicked up some pretty big waves. Great news if you're a surfer, slightly less ideal if your plan was to relax, swim, and soak up some sun. We walked along the promenade instead, taking in all the sights, and even checked out some volleyball players completely unbothered by the weather. We made our way down to Mi Khe Beach and found a great little spot overlooking the water for a drink, safely tucked inside while the rain came and went. Not quite the beach day we had in mind, but honestly, still a pretty great way to spend it. That night, the rain finally gave us a little break, so we took advantage and wandered down the street from our hotel to check out the famous Dragon Bridge. The bridge was all lit up, shifting colors every few minutes, which made for a pretty cool scene as we walked across towards the dragon's head. Unfortunately, it was not a weekend, so no fire-breathing show for us, but standing there looking at it, you can definitely imagine how impressive that must be. We checked out the boats floating gracefully down the river as we wandered back towards our hotel for the night. From Da Nang, we made the short trip down the coast to Hoi An, just about 45 minutes and around $12 for a private car. Even just driving into town, you could feel the shift, trading the bigger city vibe for something much more laid back as we rolled through tree-lined streets and colorful, narrow lanes. Our hotel was centrally located, and other than being a fourth-floor walk-up, it was very comfortable. And it had a beautiful view of the river from our balcony and a nice pool area. Hoi An is well known for its tailor shops, as we saw immediately as we set out to explore, passing them on just about every block. Even under gray skies and on and off rain, the streets still felt incredibly picturesque, full of color and charm that wasn't dampened one bit by the weather. First mission on the agenda, Troy was on the hunt for some custom faux Birkenstocks. We tracked down the TikTok famous spot, I Love Fashion, to make it happen. After picking out the style and materials, they got him measured up, and just like that, it was in motion. Now we wait, 3 days until the fitting to see how they turn out. We ducked out of the rain to dive into Hoi An's thriving coffee scene before heading to our next stop. My mission was to replace a few items of my tired travel wardrobe with some custom-made linen pieces. So after picking out fabrics and placing my order, we went back to exploring. Along the way, we stumbled on Seven Bridges, a craft beer spot with a really cute interior, fun beer posters, and some seriously tasty brews. They even have a merch shop, and we love their zero waste mission so much we grabbed some beer soap. Troy's favorite? The beer named after him, Troy Oi, of course. We continued wandering the colorful, lantern-lit streets, soaking in the evening vibes, before stopping for dinner at Chow. We went for the Bon Seo and quickly realized we needed a crash course on how to eat it properly. But once we got the hang of it, there was no stopping us. Rolling up the crispy pancakes with fresh veggies, herbs, and grilled meats in rice paper was pure joy. On the walk back to the hotel, we followed the river, beautifully lit with paper lanterns and boats drifting along the Tubon River, before finally passing the iconic Japanese covered bridge glowing softly in the night. The next day, we set out on a tour, starting with a visit to see the Lady Buddha. It was another rainy one, but honestly, it didn't take away from the experience. The grounds were beautiful, the views still sweeping even through the mist, and the statue itself was seriously impressive, standing over 220 feet tall. The whole complex is set up on the hillside with tiered gardens, ornate gates, and beautifully detailed pagodas tucked throughout. Everywhere you look, there are statues from towering figures to smaller, intricate ones lining the paths, each with its own unique expression and detail. We continued wandering the grounds, dodging the rain and finding shelter where we could before making our way to the main pagoda. It's striking with its curved roofs, bright colors, and that classic Vietnamese architecture that really stands out against the gray sky. The clouds rolling in almost adds to the atmosphere, giving everything a calm, almost mystical feel as we wander through the grounds. We caught a few monkeys having a little fun and hiding from the rain as we made our way to our next stop. Our next stop was a marble shop and factory where we got to see some skilled craftsmen at work, shaving and polishing the stone by tool and by hand. It was cool to get a bit of insight into the process and learn more about the different types of marble and what we'd be seeing later at Marble Mountain. Of course, there was also a little built-in time for browsing and maybe a bit of shopping. Next stop, Marble Mountain, where we quite literally started in hell. The cave is set up to represent the different levels of hell in Buddhist belief, and it definitely leans into the theme. Dim lighting, narrow passageways, and statues depicting punishments for your various wrongdoings, making it feel a little eerie as you wind your way through. Each section tells a story showing what happens based on your actions in life, and let's just say motivation to stay on your best behavior. It's intense, a little haunting, but also fascinating to see how these beliefs are brought to life in such a dramatic way inside the cave. Next, we made our way towards Heaven's Gate. There is an elevator option for a small extra fee to take you part of the way, but we went with the stairs in the rain because apparently we like a challenge. No one ever said getting to heaven was gonna be easy, right? After what felt like endless steps, a few beautiful stops along the way, and then more stairs, we finally made it to the top. More than 200 stairs and honestly, totally worth it. The sweeping views out over the coastline and surrounding mountains, even with the mist hanging around, made the climb feel completely rewarding. The next cave is home to a carved Buddha set right into the rock. Normally you'd get soft beams of sunlight filtering in through the openings above, but today we got a little more rain. Even without the light, it had a beautiful, calm, serene feel. We made our way past the Happy Buddha, through the grounds, and climbed a few more steps to the final stop here, a pagoda perched up high with some pretty spectacular views. Even with the clouds hanging low, you could still see out over the coastline and surrounding hills, giving it a peaceful, slightly misty kind of charm. For lunch, we stopped at a local restaurant, and at our guide's very enthusiastic suggestion, I went for the noodles with frog. Definitely a first for me, but surprisingly delicious. Tender, flavorful, and a fun new taste to try in Vietnam. After the tour, we ducked in for some dessert and to try a new coffee shop. Troy, of course, got his favorite coconut coffee, but he also went for the shop's namesake Phin coffee, a strong, slow-dripped Vietnamese brew that's rich, bold, and just the right kind of kick to follow a long day of exploring. We met up with our tour guide and an eclectic mix of travelers from around the world for our Hoi An food tour. First up was Khao Lao, a chewy, flavorful noodle dish with pork, fresh greens, and crispy croutons that's unique to the city. As we made our way between stops, the rain kept coming down, but it didn't dampen the experience. Next stop was Banh Mi, reportedly Anthony Bourdain's favorite spot, and it did not disappoint. Crispy bread, savory fillings, and all the flavors perfectly balanced.
Walk into our next spot, and the rain is not letting up.
By now, the rain was really coming down. No one had a dry foot in the group, but we were having way too much fun to care. The next stop was for Banh Xeo, the famous Vietnamese savory pancake rolled with fresh herbs and veggies in rice paper, followed by a stop for some delicious, small, chewy, translucent dumplings filled with pork. We wrapped up the evening with Mott, a refreshing local beverage that's a mix of fruit, herbs, and has a touch of sweetness, and a sweet gift from our tour guide. We walked back across the wooden bridge with full bellies and warm hearts, albeit cold and wet feet. The next day, we went back for Troy's shoe fitting, and they absolutely nailed it. Perfect fit, looked great, no adjustments needed. We didn't waste any time, those came straight with us.
Just got me a new pair of faux Birks, custom made for my feet. This is at I Love Fashion 718B, and man, it was a great experience. Took 2 days. They're all done, and they were only about $30.
We picked up the Historical Sites Pass, which gives you an entry to 5 different spots around Hoi An for about $5 per person, making it an easy way to explore a mix of temples, old houses, and assembly halls. It's nice because you can take your time wandering in and out, getting a feel for the history and architecture, from ornate temples filled with incense to beautifully preserved halls that give a glimpse into what life here used to look like. We started getting a feel for the weather here and could see another downpour rolling in. So we ducked into a coffee shop across the river just in time. While we waited it out, the owner shared more about the massive flood last October and pointed out a mark high up on the wall showing just how far the water rose. It was pretty hard to believe, and even more amazing is how much they've bounced back. Walking around now, you'd never know something like that has happened. After the rain cleared, we walked back along the river, admiring the brightly colored boats and the tasty foods for sale on our way to the old house of Tan Key. This historic home dates back over 200 years and has been passed down through generations of the same family. It's a really cool blend of Vietnamese, Chinese, and Japanese architectural styles reflecting Hoi An's history as a major trading port. Inside, they share more about the city's flooding history, including a wall marked with the water levels from past floods. Seeing just how high the water has reached many times over the years is pretty incredible and gives you a whole new appreciation for what this town has been through. Our last stop was this beautiful temple. After walking the lovely grounds, the spiraled hanging incense inside immediately caught our attention. These coils are designed to burn slowly over many hours and sometimes even days, sending a stream of smoke up as a symbol of prayers rising. Many visitors and locals purchase them as offerings, writing their names or wishes on a small yellow tag that hangs down from each coil. They create a really peaceful atmosphere with the coils gently smoking overhead and each one carrying someone's intention. Next stop was my fitting for the linen pieces I had made, a vest and matching pants. Everything came together beautifully and it was so satisfying seeing it go from fabric to a nearly finished outfit. From there, we took a short walk to Hoi An Roastery nearby. Not all of their locations have decaf, and yes, I've been thoroughly investigating, but this one delivered. Even better, it had a cozy second floor seating area where we could sit, sip, and watch the rainy street scene below. I finally found a place that actually serves decaf coffee in Hoi An, so I get my very own decaf salted coffee all to myself. So good. We headed to a local spa for a little R&R. We just had some wonderful massages here at Seta Spa.
Yeah, no disappointment. It was really good.
And I had a unique experience. I had a hair wash treatment done where you lay and they wash your hair, get a massage, a scalp massage, a shoulder and neck massage, and then they even dry your hair. I thought I would have wild hair after laying there getting it dried, but
it's beautiful.
It looks great, and I didn't have to dry it, so great experience, 5 stars.
I didn't have my hair done.
We followed up our massages with a hydrating fresh coconut and some delicious local food before making our way back through town for my final fitting. I was so happy with how it all turned out. I love how everything came together. And even better, my custom linen outfit only came to about $60 US. We headed down to the night market and wandered through the shops, taking in all the color and energy of the lantern-filled streets. With the rain finally giving us a break, the whole place felt extra lively. We made our way back along the river where the boats were glowing under the lights, drifting through the water and adding to that same magic we just can't seem to get enough of here. The next day, we took a ride out past lush green fields to check out the beach. It was still pretty cloudy and not exactly ideal beach weather, though many people were making a go of it, but we really wanted to see the local beach before leaving Hoi An.
So the weather is getting a little bit better, but it's not exactly beach weather.
No, but we're at the beach.
Yeah, it's our last day in Hoi An, and so we really wanted to check out the beach. So we're at least going to walk down the beach and maybe stop for coffee somewhere. Who knows?
We took a long walk down the beach, passing a few interesting sights along the way, like this building that looks like some kind of abandoned castle rising up near the shore. Eventually, we found the Sound of Silence, a cute, lush cafe with a really cozy vibe inside and an awesome view of the beach out back. One of our stops on our last night in Hoi An was TT Bar, and it ended up being such a fun find. The place is filled with all kinds of interesting relics and vintage touches, old signs, quirky decor, and little details everywhere you look that give it a lot of character. It was the perfect spot to sit back, people watch, and soak up our last moments in this lovely town.